Drink spiking is more common than most people realize, and survivors are often left unheard. Well, we want to welcome Ella Macduff, co-founder of Chasing Red Flags, here to share how she's using her own harrowing experience to protect others and inspire legislation for victim justice. Ella, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Happy to be here.
When we're talking about drink spiking, it's commonly known as being roofied.
Yes.
This is where a drink ends up getting drugged, and therefore the person who drinks it, they consume it, and then bad things happen. You yourself had this experience, and I'm so sorry that you went through this. Can you tell us a little bit about what you went through?
Yes, absolutely. So I was at a bar with my ex-boyfriend at the time, and I had a sealed beer with a twist-off top, and I was fine, and we were all hanging out in the bar, and he said that he needed to go to the bathroom, and I walked across the bar to say hello to some other people that I had recognized. When he came back, I had a different open drink in my hand, and I have no memory of receiving it, and I have no idea where or who I got it from. My body began to kind of shut down, and I felt really sick, and I was throwing up in an Uber, and I couldn't walk, and I was having trouble staying conscious. And so at the time I was taken to the hospital, I have no memory of getting there, but I was biting and aggressive. And I actually ended up having to go to the bathroom in my pants, which is very not normal. And so without testing me, the hospital gave me a sedative called Haldol to calm me down. And I was already on Lexapro, which is an anti-anxiety medication, over-the-counter vitamins, and whatever I was drugged with. And so the combination of all of those gave me something called serotonin syndrome, and I ended up in the ICU.
Oh my God. I mean, in those cases, this could have almost become fatal. I mean, if you had some sort of an allergic reaction, it could have been far worse.
Exactly.
Why are you speaking out about this now?
I really feel like drink spiking is far more common than a lot of people think. And it can happen at bars, parties, campus events, or even in something as simple, truly, as a water bottle, because I've heard stories about that. And I feel like survivors from all over have reached out and shared similar stories since I have opened up about mine. And I just feel like I want to share because the conversation needs to move away from kind of blaming the victims who go through this and towards education and prevention and support.
So obviously you've created a safe space for other people to come forward and to talk about their own experiences. Why is it that we don't hear more of these situations being reported? Because we know that they're happening very regularly. How come we don't hear more about this?
I feel like it's when you are drugged, you are physically and mentally kind of unable to advocate for yourself. And that was me. And many people wake up very confused or ashamed or worried that they won't necessarily be believed. And so I often say that survivors are not rare, we're just rarely believed. And so I feel like people need to be met with more compassion and empathy and not doubt. And then maybe people will share their stories more than we've heard.
And it sounds like the hospital that you were taken to could have handled this situation better. Why are hospitals not equipped with a better understanding and a better protocol to treat someone who may appear to have been drugged with a roofie?
Yes. So I believe in many states, including Massachusetts, which is where I was drugged, hospitals don't automatically test unless there has also been a suspected sexual assault. So there is no standard insurance code, I believe it's called, for drink spiking toxicology. So hospitals often do not run the tests. And so I think the testing must happen very quickly because many of these substances leave your bloodstream after a few hours. And so most victims do not know that they have to ask for it, or they're often too unwell themselves to do so.
And you're using, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, well, you were also using your own experience to further legislation. So maybe you can share a little bit more about that.
Yes, I was actually going to say I'm working right now in Massachusetts to support some legislation that's going on. Bill S 1537, which is an act for safeguarding victims of illicit drink spiking. And so that would require testing when drink spiking is suspected, no matter if you were sexually assaulted or not. And so I've been working to help with that.
That's wonderful. And how else have you
Thank
been
you.
turning your pain into purpose?
Well, in a lot of different ways. My mom and I actually have created a company called Chasing Red Flags, which is a mental wellness brand to help people talk about real experiences without feeling shame. And so we recently wrote a guided journal called Let's Get Real to kind of support emotional healing and connection with others. And so I truly believe that nobody should have to carry something like this alone. And if my story is able to help even one other person feel seen or supported or able to maybe seek help sooner, then sharing it is worth it for me.
That's incredible. Well, thank you so much. You're such an inspiration, Ella Macduff. For
Thank
people who
you.
want more information, where should they go?
Chasingredflags.com is our website. And then we are also on Instagram and TikTok, as well as Facebook at Chasing Red Flags Official.
Again, I'm so sorry to hear that this happened to you, but thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
your bravery, the courage that it took to come out and talk about it and to help others. You
Thank
are
you.
truly an inspiration. Ella Macduff, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be back in 2 minutes.